history was made yesterday, also in a couple of other ways. For the first time that we can find in American history, without a hurricane, without a tornado, without a, when New Orleans hit, people volunteered from all over the country. But there was no tornado, there was no hurricane, there was no earthquake. And 34,000 people came to Dallas, Texas as volunteers to help. And they cleaned houses, they painted houses, they fixed parks, they cleaned parks, schools, churches, gave churches new roofs, new air conditioning. They raised food, 14 tractor trailers, and they went out yesterday in Dallas. There was food received. In Brooklyn, food received. And Tara, who works for Mercury One, you just got back from New Mexico. You want to tell me what happened in New Mexico yesterday?
So we traveled to New Mexico yesterday to the Navajo Nation. It's about 4 hours from Albuquerque. Mm-hmm. And there we met with Pastor Robert So. There was a group of about 500 individuals there that had come out to receive food that had been delivered.
Okay, hang on just a second. I've never been to the Navajo Nation in New Mexico. Pat, you have?
Mm-hmm.
And it is
extremely poverty-stricken.
Like horrible poverty.
Really bad poverty.
You ever seen anything like it in America before, Tara?
I have not. Literally the drive out there, as we got further and further away from Albuquerque on the way to Shiprock, it was almost like going into another country.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is. It is another country.
Yeah.
We have, with everything that we've done as a nation in the past, starting in the 1800s, we have encouraged this kind of poverty, and it's bad. We've taken a very proud people 100 years ago, and they're still proud people, but we have taken them and we have damn near broken their spirit because of things like manifest destiny and everything else, and the way we've treated in the past. Now the left, starting in the 1960s, these guys have always been some of the most fierce Americans ever. Remember, I believe it's Navajos that were the wind talkers?
So what it was?
Right?
Yeah, the code breakers in World War II.
It was the Navajos that did it. They helped us win World War II. They were fiercely pro-American, even though they had no reason to be, until the left started going into these Native American reservations and just turning them against us. It's time for us to do the right thing, and that's one of the things that Mercury One was doing. They took this food, and if you're watching GBTV now, you'll see some of the pictures of this semi-truck full of food coming to the Navajo Nation yesterday. So tell me what happened.
So we arrived out at the Navajo Nation. There were approximately 500 individuals there waiting to receive food. Pastor Robert gave a blessing. During that time, he specifically wanted to thank both your organization, Glenn, and also Mercury One. He said they've not seen this kind of outreach before. The local media came out to cover it, and they shared with us that the local media does not come out to the reservation unless there is a shooting or a death. He said in the 12 years that he has been there on the reservation, he's not seen them come out for anything other than a shooting or a death. So that was pretty moving.
Who is it the president or the chief? Is it a president or a chief?
It's the president. He is elected. He is their president, Ben Shelley. Mm-hmm. We were introduced to him. Very thankful, very humble man. But like you said, a very proud.
Would he fly out to be on the show with us? Do you know?
I think that he probably would.
Okay. Would you talk to TV today and see if we can bring him and maybe some people out, or I'd even like to go out to the Navajo Nation. I'd like to meet them myself. But anyway, go ahead. So what happened?
So he addressed the nation in their native language, which was very moving experience.
You have any idea what he said?
They translated parts of it for us, just about how thankful that they were, that they know that the food will not last long, maybe a week for that group of people, but that it was very much appreciated. Some of them wouldn't have had food for that night. Otherwise, they would not have eaten that night, which is a hard thing to think about.
In America. in America.
In America.
Look, the Native Americans are I grew up around the Lummies up in Washington State, and I didn't know any growing up. I didn't know anything about them. I grew up with a guy who his grandfather was Native American, and he used to do carvings, and I'll never forget. He'd have a totem pole. He had a totem pole in his backyard, which I love. I love Northwest Indian art. My wife, on the other hand, was like, I don't really like that. I'm like, I want a totem pole so bad. But it's just beautiful, beautiful heritage, and I know very little about it because even growing up right around them, you just don't learn anything about them. And we've got to change that, and we have to be in each other's lives, and help each other. And I don't have any guilt for what happened. What Andrew Jackson did to the Indians, I wasn't there. I have no guilt, none. But I sure would like to help. I sure would like to say, the past is the past, and you're not invisible. You're my brother. Just like everybody else, you're my brother. And we drive by these Indian reservations, and we don't even think about it. It's hard to think about it. You drive by, what is it, the Massapequa Nation up in Connecticut?
Yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah, that's totally different. They got a casino there.
Largest in the world.
Yeah, and there's what, 40 Massapequa Indians? And so they're doing fine. They're doing fine.
So Mashantucket Pequots?
Yeah, is that what it is? I can't
so.
remember.
Yeah, I think so.
But these guys are not. They're not. And let's not be invisible. Let's not just go to the reservation when there's a shooting. I'm working on something, and we're selecting a location right now for something for next summer. And some people are trying to, some people on the staff are trying to get me to sign off on one location, and it is a remarkable, beautiful location. I mean, it's a great location. But I am much more inclined. I tell you, I think we need to do something on an Indian reservation next year, and link arms, and change lives, and celebrate together. So I'm glad you went. I'm glad you went.
It was amazing.
One of those things that kind of turns you.
Absolutely.
What'd you learn yesterday?
I don't think that I ever realized just how independent that and proud, like you said, the Navajos especially are. That was one of the things that the pastor kept encouraging them on was, if you need help, ask for it. Reach out to your neighbor, because they're very private people also.
Look at the land they're on. It is beautiful. I have never been. One of the states I've never been to is New Mexico. But I've seen pictures. I mean, we're showing it now. The pictures are stunning. The land is beautiful. And, you're the caretaker of that land. And you have this rich, rich heritage. And they should be proud. They should be proud. We should probably be a little more humble